Okay, so we've completed restructuring, which was basically moving our titles over and then removing the gaps between server hours and servers. Now we want to apply new formatting. So as always, when we're making changes, we want to save a copy. So F12 and change that to 3, which will be our formatted version. Okay, so our first step I think will be to remove the 2019 from the dates. That will allow us to increase the font size, making it easier to read from a greater distance. To do that, we're going to go into the Home menu, alternate H, and now FM for the font menu. It already has us on the Number tab, but if you wanted to use the shortcut keys to move between the tabs, it's the first letter of each tab. So A for alignment, F for font, B for border, F for fill, P for protection. You go, wait, F is in font and fill. Well, it just toggles between the two. So N for number, and then tab to get into the category menu. It's already selected at dates. Then tab again to get into the type menu. And now we'll just select month and day and enter to accept. Alright, so now let's change the days of the week to a 3-letter and all caps. Oops. So MON, and now drag that across, and Excel will autofill in Monday through Sunday. Alright, so next let's indent the staff names. Next we will indent the staff names to make them a little bit more visible and provide some separation from the border. So starting with Noah, I'm going to use the Shift, Control, and down arrow key. And now that took us a little bit further, so I'm just going to hold the Shift key down and up arrow twice. So now I've got Noah to Nicole selected. Now to indent, I'm going to use the Home menu, alternate H, and 6 for indent. And you see it provided a nice little gap between the border and the staff name, and makes it a little bit more noticeable between the titles. Now we want to center the text from dates all the way down to events. To do that, we'll use Shift and down arrow, and then Shift and left arrow. And now to center the text, alternate H, and then AC. Now, the dates were already centered, so it toggles it on, and in this case, toggled it off. So now we'll toggle it on one more time, which is Home menu and AC. And now everybody's centered. Now let's remove the existing shading from the area. Since it's already selected, I'll just work with the range we have. And to clear shading, it's back to the Home menu, alternate H, H for fill, and N for no fill. Okay, now we're going to add some new titles. So our first one will be positions, over here in A3, POS, period. And the next one will be staff names, or just staff, in B3. Now let's apply shading to separate the dates from the staff and make this more visually appealing. So just Shift, Control, and left arrow to select everything. And alternate H, H brings up the fill menu, and I'm just going to pick a nice dark gray. And I'm going to repeat that with the titles, or the positions, I'm sorry. That was the Control Y, or you could do alternate HH. The nice thing about Control Y there is you don't have to reselect the, besides being shorter, but you don't have to reselect the color again. Sometimes it can be easy to forget which shade you're using, and it just makes it simpler. Now we want to change the font color to make these more visible. To do that, it's Alternate H for the home menu, FC for font color, and we'll pick the white to go against the dark background. And repeat that for the positions. Now let's bold everybody. So select and Control B for bold. And do that again with cocktails. Oops, it was already bolded. Another way to check is to use the home menu, Alternate H, and you can see how the bold is highlighted. So that means this cell is bolded. And escape to get out of that. Now let's change our font sizes. For the position titles, let's go with a font size of 20. So to do that, it'll be Alternate H for the home menu, FS for font size, and then you can just type in 20, enter. Now you notice the cell, or the font size is still highlighted, so you're technically still in font size. To use the keys to get out of that, just hit escape. And we'll want to repeat that process for the days of the week and staff. Alright, so now let's change the staff names to 18 point. Actually, make the staff name and hours 18 point. So Alternate H, FS, and then 18, enter, and escape. So now we notice that there are some cells that have more information that can be contained. So we're going to use a function called shrink to fit to make those shrink to fit into the cell. So I'm going to highlight the area that I want to apply it to using the shift and down arrow keys and the shift and right arrow keys. Now I'm going to go into the font menu, Alternate H, FA, and Alternate K for shrink to fit, and enter. And now you'll see that the items that were too big before are now shrunk down to fit inside their cells. Alright, so now let's make the dates 22 point font. So that's Alternate H, FS for font size, and 22, enter. And escape to get out of the menu. And now let's put on our borders. So to do that, I'll select the area and Alternate H, B for border, and then T for thick. And I'll just repeat that down here to separate out the events. And that's Control Y. All right. So that was it for the formatting. Next will be the formulas and functions to automate the totals and shade the cells automatically.